Hello and welcome to 3-Minute Theology Thursday. Today we are talking about the invisibility of God, what it means, what the Bible has to say about it, and ways we do and don't share with God's invisibility. Roll the intro. Okay, let's get 3 minutes on the screen and let's get into it. In systematic theology, Wayne Grudem talks about God's spirituality like this. God's total essence, all of his spiritual being, will never be able to be seen by us. Yet, God still shows himself to us through visible created things. Now, the Bible talks about God's invisibility, for example in Exodus chapter 20, where God says, "You cannot see my face, for man shall not see me and live." In John 4, Jesus says that God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. 1 Timothy says that to the King of the ages, immortal, invisible, the only God, be honor and glory forever and ever. Now, just because God is invisible doesn't mean that he doesn't show himself to us by taking on visible forms. For example, he showed himself to Abraham in Genesis 18, or he wrestled with Jacob in Genesis 32, or to the whole nation of Israel he appeared as a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. Of course, the greatest example of God showing himself to us visibly is through God incarnate, Jesus Christ. In the book of John, Jesus says that whoever has seen me has seen the Father. Now, John clarifies and tells us in John chapter 1 that no one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. So we haven't ever seen God, we've only seen the incarnate God, or Jesus, or the begotten God. Now, in what ways do we share in God's invisibility? Well, we have invisible traits that God has given us, right? So like our spirits, our souls, or our emotions, or our thoughts. These are traits we have that can't be seen. But there are also ways that God's invisibility is different than ours. For example, we have physical bodies. God doesn't. And God's invisibility is because of his nature and will, whereas ours is partial and limited. Now, why does it matter that God is invisible to us? Well, the reason that God is invisible to us is because he's too great, too holy and glorious for our eyes to behold. He's so wonderful that we can't comprehend or we can't take in being able to see him. And when we think about how great God is, that should cause us to praise him and glorify him, to worship God. So that is the invisibility of God. Thank you for watching. My name is Jacob, and God willing, I'll see you in the next video. Remember to set your mind on things above. Now, this topic was very closely related to God's spirituality, which you can watch about right here. I kept saying spirituality instead of invisibility. That's how closely related they are.